Hi everybody and welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Today is a violin comparison review where I'm going to be reviewing the Cecilio CVN600 versus the Cecilio CVN700. So first of all, the price of the 600 is around about $400 on Amazon.com, varying. The price of the CVN700 is about $500, so it's roughly about $100 more. Those prices are just rough because they do change all the time, so it just depends what they are on the day. Now, the main differences is that the 600 has the Dario prelude strings, which are sort of pretty kind of Cecilio sort of standard go-to factory, out the factory kind of strings. So they're not factory strings, they are much better in fact than factory strings, but they're standard. So they have these on even their cheaper violins. So like the CVN100 has Dario prelude strings. The one annoying thing about getting cheap violins, for example, is when they just put really poor factory strings on them, just because it just makes it so much harder to work with the strings. So the 600 has the Dario prelude strings, as you can see from the tag at the top, and this one has red label sensitive strings, which means these are just bright and they're very easy to tune and they hold their tune quite a bit. So the main differences are, I suppose, that everything, the wood is aged at least 7 years, I believe, on both of them. They both have a solid piece back. I know my hands are probably in the way, but they have a one-piece back. The 700 is flamed. They're both solid wood maple. The 700 is flamed, but the 600 is not flamed. It's slightly lighter in colour as well. Depends if kind of colour's a thing for you or not. This one's slightly darker, the 700. The 600 has 4 gold-plated tuners, whereas the 700 only has 1. But it has, even though everything is ebony on both of these violins, fingerboard, tailpiece, chin rest, you name it, it is. The pegs have slightly different detailing on them. This one has, the 600 has like a nice pearl kind of inlay to it, which looks really nice, and it has the same thing on the tailpiece as well. Whereas this has sort of like, I suppose it looks like ivory, but it's not ivory, but it looks quite similar to it. It's sort of just a bit of kind of off-white detailing, if you like, and that's picked up again in the pegs. That's sort of it really. They both have the same sort of bridge, they both have the same sort of feel to it, but there's about $100 difference. I'm going to play them both back to back for you in a minute, and then I'm just going to give you a quick summary, pros and cons comparison and that kind of thing. So comparing the two sound-wise, I'm not sure how much the microphone has picked out, but the 600 has a sort of softer, mellower sound, whereas this has a sort of more of a high-pitched, sort of higher end. There seems to be a lot more treble in this one. I've done individual reviews of these, so if you want to check those out, look in the description bar directly underneath this video. I have no hands to point, so it's going to be down below this video, so have a look at those. And I've done some comparisons on the 700 and the 800 and the 600 and the 800 as well, so I'm mixing them all together so you can see the difference. So there is $100 difference in this, which is not really a huge amount. Like I say, the difference in tone, I think first impressions of hearing the two together back to back is that I initially liked the 600 a little bit better than the 700, but having said that, I think if the 700 had some different strings on it, if you tried it out with some, I don't know, some Parastro olives or some, you tried perhaps a Parastro gold label on the E string, or you tried some obligatos, you might be able to soften it and warm it up a little bit. So this one might be, the 700 might be more responsive to better strings or some different strings to bring out different notes and flavours. Plus I think if this was warmed up as well, so the wood is aged 7 years with this one, if the 700 was warmed up a little bit and it had more of the undertones, overtones, the harmonics and that kind of thing going into the violin and travelling through the wood, then the wood would soften up and the wood would warm up, and the wood would warm up a little bit, and you would start to see a little bit more of the tone. Unfortunately, that's not going to come across because I'm not playing it like I am my own instrument, obviously, because I have my own. So you're only getting the sound of the cold sound of the violin. That's not necessarily a bad thing because they're both in the same position. So it's not like I've been playing one for 6 months and the other one I haven't, and then it wouldn't be a true comparison. But I suppose first off, I prefer the sound of the 600, but I think the 700 could mature into something nice. When I'm playing, you can definitely feel that the 700 has more sophistication to it. So it is a little bit more mature sounding. You can tell it's sort of like this is the adult and this is the child or the teenager kind of thing. So there is a little bit more substance to the 700 than there is to the 600. But I think price-wise, this is a really, really difficult one. There's only $100, so in the UK that's only about £60, which, you know, I suppose for some people it's a lot of money, for some people it's not a lot of money. But if you're talking about, you know, $400 and $500, there's not an awful lot of money. $400 is still a lot of money to spend in the first place. So would I spend the extra $100 to get the 700? I probably would. If there was more than $100 difference, I don't know whether I would buy the 700 over the 600. If there's about $100 or in and around $100 difference between the two, then yes, I would probably buy the 700, just because I know it is a lot better than this. It's only, well, a lot better. It's a little bit better than the 600, but it is better and you can notice it, and it is worth getting. So that's it really. I think that's everything I need to mention on this one. I hope you liked the video. Check out all the links in the description bar and down below this video if you want to have a look at more comparisons and versus reviews, videos and that kind of thing. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Subscribe, thumbs up and all that kind of stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.